Hey, I'm Brooks Higginbotham, and welcome back to Histrionic Personality Disorder. Histrionic roughly translates to theatrical. Think of ancient Greece with the two masks of tragedy and comedy. This is what it means to be theatrical. Now, if you take this and you wrap it up and you apply it to behaviors, this is potentially what histrionic personality disorder looks like, but we're going to explore the diagnostic criteria. Number one, they're uncomfortable in situations where they're not the center of attention. Think about being the main character of a reality TV show. Number two, interaction with others is often characterized by provocative or sexualized behaviors. It's also important to understand that histrionic personality disorder also shares criteria with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Looking at this and looking at this specific diagnostic criteria under the trauma lens tells us that a learned behavior incorporated into histrionic personality disorder is having sexualized or provocative behaviors as a go-to. Number three, shows rapidly shifting and sometimes shallow emotions. When you think about surface level only and surface level relationships, this is kind of what that looks like. Number four, constantly uses their physical appearance to draw attention to themselves. There are millions of different characteristics that a person has about themselves, not including their physical appearance. However, when their physical appearance is always their go-to and always what they utilize to try to have relationships, oftentimes shallow, this is what we're talking about. Number five, a style of speech that's incredibly impressionistic but lacking in detail. Sometimes you hear people that talk a lot, but they don't really say anything. This is what we're looking at here. That's not to say that people that struggle with histrionic personality disorder don't have anything to say. What that is saying is that when people with histrionic personality disorder often talk, they will deflect, and they won't talk about their true selves and their true feelings. Number six, self-dramatization and exaggerated behaviors. Think about an old Greek play. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or by opposing end them. I think that's incredibly theatrical. Now, tailor that and look at that with this. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or by opposing end them. Which one carries more weight? Which one makes you feel something? Overly theatric behaviors are learned behaviors in which people use, normally for validation and attention. Number seven is suggestible and is easily influenced by others. If someone can say to you, hey, let's do this, and you don't think it's a good idea, but you're inclined to do it anyway, that's what we're looking at. Number eight, considers relationships to be much more intimate than they actually are. When you go on a coffee date, and 48 hours later, you're planning your wedding, naming your grandkids, and you're thinking about where you're going to retire, the relationship is probably much more intimate than it actually is. Now, this isn't a good thing or a bad thing. There is no good or bad here. But what this does mean is that you're far more invested in a person than you could be because you don't know the person. Most often, the attraction and the emotional attachment isn't to the person, it's to what their role could potentially be. You're looking for someone to fill a role. And because you're struggling with your own emotions and your own feelings, when you find someone or something to fill that void and to deflect from those things, it fires off these addictive things that mimic love that aren't actually love. It's attachment. These 8 criteria are symptoms of histrionic personality disorder, which are marked by attention-seeking and validation-needing behaviors.